Hey everybody, happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday. What's going on?
Here we are.
Ooh, it's cold. It's still cold, Autumn.
Gonna stay cold,
It's gonna
everybody.
be like that for like 4 months. Get used to it.
It'll be worse tomorrow. Tell me how you feel.
Oh man. Oh man. No, it's good. Everybody's saying hello.
Hello,
Hello, Peter. Hello,
everyone.
Marie.
I know, I'm just
Hello,
logging into
Scott.
this.
Yeah,
now.
Autumn is just logging in. Do you want to
Yeah.
say what we were talking about? We can talk about it. We're
Yeah.
talking about the medium stuff?
Yeah. Well, yeah, that'd be interesting to know what everybody here thinks. Has anyone ever spoken to a medium? And if you have or have not, why have you? Or how did you feel about it? And
Yeah.
why don't you want to?
Yeah, it's an interesting conversation, and it's definitely one that I know people feel both ways on.
Mhm,
Some people
mhm.
think that it is the perfect way of connecting to a loved one or a spirit or something, and then other people are like, I don't want to know that.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to. That's kind of. I don't know if I would say I'm in like either lane, but I'm probably closer to the. I believe that there are people who can connect and like speak to people,
Mhm.
not on this earth, but I don't want to know what they have to say,
Yeah.
even if it would be comforting. Like
Right.
that is kind of where I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I don't know if I want to know. So it's
Yeah.
a really interesting dynamic, but
Yeah.
it was funny because you were just talking about it, and then it led us into a conversation about it for like
Yeah.
5 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people, and speaking with, it started with a conversation of my friend Tessa Groff. She's a medium, and she does these readings and stuff, and she, tells me different stories, of things that, or you see it on her shows, things that happen, and it's interesting because she understands that a lot of people feel like you
Mhm.
as
Yeah.
well, or
I'm
people are
sca-
like,
it's-
I
I'm
just
scared.
don't believe in it, just don't do it, just don't.
I believe in it. I am scared. I am scared of finding out whatever they might say. I'm like legitimately, maybe I'm
Yeah.
scared of confronting my fear. I don't know what it
Yeah,
is, but
yeah,
I am
yeah.
like scared of knowing whatever they might tell me.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
I wouldn't want that to somehow sway the trajectory of my life or what I think or what I feel, even if it was supposed to be comforting.
Yeah,
in a way.
yeah.
Because I know
I can
that's
get
what it's
that.
for. I know it's not like somebody's going to tell you they're ashamed of you. Like I'm not expecting that.
no.
But I don't know. I just
Well, I think there's a lot that goes into how you perceive it, what you take from it. I mean, there could be tea leaf readers or palm readers, and maybe they're not, the most. I don't know how you would say it. Maybe you shouldn't be listening to what they say, and in your mind, you think that that's what the universe is trying to tell you, and now you're swayed in a way where maybe you shouldn't be going down that path. Other things, maybe it is comforting, maybe it does help.
yeah. Look at this guy. Once again, I'm with the on board with the old wise sportscaster in the middle about media. Well, I don't know. I don't know if I guess thanks, but at the same time, like old, I don't know if that's great. Wise, I don't know if I'd agree with that, but hey, I appreciate
No,
it.
you have some fans on here. Some people love.
I don't know why, but it's very nice of you.
I wonder where Robert's from. He says, "Who sent the cold to the deep south?"
Yeah, Robert, let us know where
That
you're
would
watching.
be
Robert, you're here,
Canada.
right? You're
That
here.
is that's different than what we were talking about. We were going to talk about. It's
Yeah.
very different. The whole tip thing is a fantastic conversation.
I think we should talk about it.
Sure.
How do you all feel about tips?
I mean, I feel like you should always tip when. Here's the way I always think about it. It's like if the food is being brought to you or something. Like if you're not picking it up
sit-in
yourself,
restaurant?
that's
Yeah.
what I mean. You always tip no matter what. If you were picking up food, then I feel like it is very much on a case-by-case basis.
Well, how do you determine who you want to give a tip to when you're picking it up?
I think for me, it would be frequency in going, familiarity with the staff / restaurant. I think those would be the big contributing factors to me. That's not old.
I
Thank
just have
you,
to say,
Connie.
yeah.
I'm not,
Connie
I'm
stuck
not-
up for
I'm
you.
not Connie, so thank you. So
He
like
is
if
not
I am
old.
going to pick up, let's say, Chinese food,
Yeah.
they don't ask where I go. So shout out Red Pepper. They don't do. They don't
Oh, red pepper,
I
red
love
pepper is really
I
good
love
too.
Red Pepper.
Yeah.
I should be like their spokesperson. I love Red Pepper, but like if they were to flip over an iPad, I would give them a tip probably just because I go there pretty often. But like, why would I be tipping? What am I tipping at that point?
It's just a thank you. I mean, I guess you saying you paying for the
I'm
food.
paying
is-
for the food. That's not a thank you. I'm paying. I mean,
Right. They're not waiting
get
on
it.
you. They're not spending time, taking care of what, being there.
because I don't even know who the tip is going to at this point. Because the people in the
Are you
kitchen
gonna ask? I'm
No.
tipping, but who's it going to?
No, I'm not. And I would imagine it's some sort of like everybody gets it or
Yeah,
something.
yeah, yeah.
But my thought there is what Alyssa was talking about earlier, like pay people more. And
Yeah.
if I understand, if that makes the meal
Yeah.
more expensive, then it makes the meal more expensive.
What if you go to a spot like Pile Mine? Like my daughter works at Pile Mine, and people tip all the time, and they have one bucket, and then they
I don't know what
split
that
up.
is. I don't
Pile
know.
Mine is like the Chipotle of salads, and then they do brick oven pizzas
Yeah, they're
too.
making the food for you right in front of you, right?
Yeah, but it's not like a restaurant. It's like how you go through the Chipotle line.
Right.
Would you tip somebody at Chipotle?
Ooh, that's a good question. I
So
think I
Pile
would.
Mine is like
I
that.
think I would because they are putting together everything. All right, we're getting wrapped. We're gonna do a quick break.
Already?
We're
Yeah.
gonna continue. Yeah.
Okay.
We'll be right back. Yeah, in that instance, I would, because they are preparing. They are putting in the work and preparing the food. That is a lot. My thing is like if I go get a cup of coffee
Mhm.
and I walk up to the counter, they fill the coffee and they hand it to me. Flip the iPad. What am I tipping for?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, if you're in the service industry, please like tell. I am
Yeah.
trying to be. I'm not trying to like be cheap. I'm just trying to figure out what is the
Now
point. of
I
this.
tip simply because
Yeah.
it's there.
Always,
But yeah,
always.
yeah, I just do. Now I don't tip as much as if we're sitting in a restaurant,
Uh-huh.
but I do.
See, and
like when I go to Spot Coffee, they flip that iPad over. I always hit
What?
tip.
So if you get
Same like in Panera. I'm like, do I tip? Like they're just doing what they're
I don't know.
Supposed
I
to
think
be
it's more
doing.
local versus chain for me.
Uh-huh.
So like maybe at a Panera because I know it's chain.
Uh-huh.
I probably, but
Yeah, but
locally,
yeah, but there's still local people working there.
That's
what
true.
What difference does it make? If
That's true.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
that for
That's
you. I'm
true.
just saying like it's a very. I don't know. I never want to be. I feel like I'm a very good. What's a good tip? Not on this. Like if you go out to a restaurant, I feel like
minimum 20%.
I was gonna say
Yeah, they
I'm
should be
always
20%.
always 20%. Never
Minimum.
less than 20%.
What if you have to wait an extra long time for your food?
I don't think that falls on the server at
I
times.
agree.
And then I would still, I don't think that if the server was like really noticeably rude or something went wrong that I felt like they could have addressed and didn't, then maybe I would give 15% as opposed to 20%. But a lot of times I understand, there's no pun intended, a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Like there's a lot of things that go on and a lot of it is out of the server's hands.
I will tell you that just so you know whether or not this has happened to you, we've had certain things happen at restaurants and they'll take an item off the bill,
Sure.
like a whole dinner or whatever. So
Then
like
you-
say $20 comes off of the bill.
Yeah.
And, it had nothing to do with our waiter or waitress.
Yep.
So I'm like, I still want to tip 20%
that.
off of the whole bill.
Yes.
They do now that they have suggestions all the time, you don't do it yourself. The suggestions are based off of what your normal total would have been.
Okay. Yeah. that's
Because
good.
I do the math quite often.
Yeah.
So I'm like, would it have been the same? And yes, it's off of what the whole bill should have been
Do
rather
you have
than
to do the
what's-
math in your head, or do you just know how to do it? Like, do you have like a little trick that you do? I have a little thing that I do.
Yeah.
I just do 10% and then double it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I just take the first number and double it and add one. That's what I usually do. Think about it. So if it's $120, right? First number would be 12. Double it, 24. Add $1, 25.
Okay.
And
We're
then
coming back.
Let's see what the math is on that.
Okay. Welcome back to Studio 7. We're talking about tipping.
Man, look at my math. My math is spot on.
Oh.
So what I was saying is when I'm tipping at a restaurant, I just take the first number, I double it, and then I add $1.
That's essentially what 10% is. We were just saying, I said I take 10% double it, and then that's
Yeah.
that's
But you
exactly
didn't add
what
the
that
dollar.
is.
So if it's $100 bill, I would say, okay, it's
$20.
$10. So multiply it by 20, and then add it out. So $21.
What is
So
the dollar for?
just so it's a little bit more than 20%
Oh,
in my
okay.
head, just like a little bit more than 20%. I don't know. I guess it depends on the
And
service.
I was gonna say that's the Italian in you or something.
Yeah, probably.
And
Sounds like my husband. You just add $1.
Yeah.
And I do have to say, I've been at restaurants where, like, I know you talk about the tip at the least 15% if it's just a really rough waiter or waitress. I mean, I'm that person that has a conversation like, is it a rough day? And
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Is it a rough day? And I've been that person where my husband's like, why did you leave that much for tip? I'm like, obviously she was having a rough day.
But what if they like tell you it is, then what do? Is it a rough day? You have no idea.
I leave extra.
My
I
partner
do
is
the 20
cheating
plus.
on me. I lost my
Oh.
job. I'm like, what do you do? Like, you're
I'd be
like,
like, girl, I'm trying to eat, but
Yeah.
but I do tip. Like, I'm that person that's like, is it a rough day? And then I'll tip extra.
See, it's funny because my mom will do like the opposite of that, and she will not to a server or like somebody in a restaurant, but if she goes to like the grocery store and they are not like being very kind, she'll be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you worked here." And to somebody who like clearly works here, and they'll be like, she'll be like, yeah, exactly,
Right,
yeah.
right. Don't be mean, people. How do y'all feel about 6 or more people? They automatically.
I'm
add
cool
up
with
your
that.
tip for
I don't
you.
care.
I'm cool with that. I don't
That's
care.
fine.
At that point, I don't care. I feel like,
But do you make sure everybody at the table does their part of the tip?
um,
If it's 6 or more,
well, if you're going with 6 or more, you got to make the decision of what you're doing. Are you doing
Yeah.
the split the bill, or are you just everybody divides it and conquers? Like, how is that? That's
Mm-hmm.
another interesting conversation. If you go out to eat and you're with like other people, and you get something that isn't the same as somebody else, and they go like a lot more, what do? Do you just divide the bill, or do you pay for what you ate?
I pay for what I ate.
Okay, what do you do?
It all depends. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it depends on what group, I'm with. Like if we do brunch and I'm with like all my cousins, usually someone gets the bill.
The whole
and-
bill? Oh, and then
Yeah, gets the bill, and then Venmo or PayPal, however you're gonna like split it up that way. So either we'll have a conversation. It always ends up working out. Like someone may not get as big of a meal, but then they have 2 or 3 more drinks or something like that. So then it kind of like ends up working out in that way. Or we take a snapshot of the
Bill, send
the
it,
bill,
and then
you're
just
like,
say, send me
tell
what you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what we do too.
Yeah.
But it is an interesting dynamic, especially before things like Venmo and PayPal
Yeah,
and stuff,
and it's
because
like,
it's like
gotta
what you
have
do.
cash.
Like my wife and I don't really drink. Like we don't drink a lot. So if you go out to a restaurant and you go out with a couple couples, and let's say each couple gets 2 drinks.
Yep.
So now that's 4 drinks. You don't get a drink. One of the other
And that's
people,
the whole dinner.
that's
That
one of
could
the
be a
other people
dinner.
gets a steak. My wife's a vegetarian. She's gonna get a salad.
Mm-hmm.
So like between the two of us, we're spending $40. If the other people are spending $120, why am I just dividing it and paying the exact same amount?
Yeah, no, you don't.
Like you don't, and luckily that does not happen as much anymore. But I understand like the trepidation there. What does this say?
Kevin says there's nothing I like less than debates about the bill. Just pay for it. Cover me next time.
I mean, I agree with.
When you're going up to a bar and you're ordering, drinks
Uh-huh.
for everyone, I got this round.
Yes, and I agree.
Food
if
is
it's-
expensive.
And I agree.
Food
if
is
it's-
expensive,
Depend-
Kevin.
Not for that 6 people. If you're out with another couple,
Uh-huh.
yeah, maybe I'll get you
I
next
agree
time
if it
or
is like an
whatever, but-
affordable thing or if it's not like something that's exorbitant. But the minute it becomes like if you're out at a nice restaurant and you're in this situation, I do think that that's always weird. But then what you ultimately do is just, hey, Venmo me what you think you owe. You don't
Yeah.
even say what you owe. Just here's the bill. Venmo me what you think you owe. I'll get it. And then everybody's
Yeah.
like fighting for the credit card points.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
interested to know. I'm interested to know, Kevin, is it because it's uncomfortable for you? Because we've been out, and I'm sure you guys have too, with 8 people. And then when the server comes up and goes, is this all on one bill? Or is it separate? And everybody goes, I mean,
Yeah.
it can get awkward.
It can get weird, but most people, when I'm with them, somebody wants the points. Like that was
Right.
not kidding.
Yeah.
But somebody
Right.
is like, oh, $800 bill? Like, yeah, that's 800 airline miles. I want that or
Nobody
something.
says that to me.
No, really. Oh,
Yeah, no, everybody wants the points.
no,
in
for
our,
me, it's like
yeah.
everybody wants the points. Because,
That's
like,
interesting.
which is funny because I'm not that. I'm like, I'll have my, because in my head, and once again, this is not the right way of thinking, but if the money is not currently in the bank account, it almost feels like it doesn't exist. So if I have a Venmo balance, if I am sending you $150 out of a Venmo balance, it feels like I'm not spending any money because
Right.
it is not in my bank account. It is not coming
Yeah.
specifically out of my wallet. So I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, this is just, let's send this virtual funds to you and then I don't have to think about it.
Yeah.
So what about other places like hair salons? Like, I mean, I know each place is different, but when you're pulling
When
up,
you're doing when you're provided a service, right?
provided a service, or you go to Tim Hortons, somebody mentioned coffee,
Mm-hmm.
and they put that little pad out to you if you use your card, and it says, "Do you want to add a tip?"
That's what it's so hit or miss for me. It completely depends on the
Yeah.
situation for me. Sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't do it. I'm never trying
Yeah.
to be rude. I think in each individual situation, it's does this warrant a tip or is this you just trying to get money out of me? Yeah.
We'll be right back. I like that. Or are you just trying to get money out of me? So
Hey,
let's
people
go
are.
through some of these comments. So if
Excuse
you go
me.
out to eat with a group, everyone should pay for their meals and put in for the tip.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
or you just kind of sort it out yourselves. Thank you, everybody. Sorry, I
Thank
gotta
you.
go.
Oh,
He
yeah.
has to get going. Thank you, Matt.
Bye, guys.
Yeah, I mean, if it's more simple, I guess it depends on your waiter as well, because your waiter just might be like, it's fine for me to split. Just tell me, if that's easier
Yeah,
to
yeah,
do.
yeah.
And then it's like, okay, fine, it's easier to do,
Yeah,
Otherwise,
yeah.
it's fine going on one bill.
So Kevin's point is, yes, it's uncomfortable for me. Hate splitting bills, annoying for staff. Hate arguments of I didn't even eat any of the mozzarella sticks. That's so true. It happens too. That is so true. It happens. So what is your general rule when it comes to services? Like you go to get a massage, you get your hair done, how do you feel about that?
Yeah, if it's a service, yeah, you tip,
Hmm.
I would say.
Is there an etiquette for?
For how much?
I mean, I think the standard base is 20% across the board, right? But is it different for services that people provide?
I don't know.
Hmm.
I'm not positive on that. But anytime,
Yeah.
like I get my hair done, I tip. Any salon service,
Yeah, absolutely.
I tip.
Absolutely. Connie says, thanks for stopping by, Matt.
Yeah, he's gone.
We like it when he stops by too.
He's back at work, a
Yep.
different work, I guess we could say. All right.
And this is something that we talked about earlier. Alyssa, how much time do we have before this break is over? Because we can do it. Would you rather? 1:15. You want to do it? Would you rather?
Sure. Mm,
Would you rather have a restaurant add the tip automatically or leave it up to you?
I would, well, I mean, what amount of tip are they automatically applying?
Well, do you want to just trust that? I mean, I wouldn't mind either way, but if I had to choose one, I would say add it up automatically just because you can't trust everyone's. You know what I mean? Some people don't like the 20% thing. But so if they add it manually, the wait staff at least knows that they're going to get a minimum of
Right.
something.
Yeah. Because I think the minimum that they put on the bill is 15. So
Mhm.
then you can always add more if you
Yeah,
wanted to
yeah.
add more.
But there
so
needs to
then
be a minimum.
that they know that, they'll
Yeah.
always get 15% or something. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, Anita says definitely leave it up to me. We're coming back, friends. And welcome back to Studio 7. So we've been talking about tipping today.
Yes.
And Matt has left us, but he has some strong opinions
Oh, yeah.
when it comes to tipping.
He's
Now,
got his hot takes.
have you been to any of the restaurants where they have the robots yet?
No.
Oh, so there's one that we went to in Williamsville near the Eastern Hills Mall.
Okay.
And it was a buffet. Now some robots will bring the food to you or they will seat you. And then you still deal with a human
Okay.
at some point, like for refills or drinks and stuff
Okay.
like that. But robots do deliver the meals
Oh, okay.
and they do greet you when you walk in.
Oh,
They
that
do
is-
take you to your seat.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
It is. And it's pretty cool, creepy cool.
Yeah.
But how would you feel as far as tips with that, knowing that a robot kind of helped you out?
It would probably be less. I don't know.
You think? How?
Yeah.
What would
the
you
the
guys think?
robot's not getting money.
Correct. But it's out there. You have to try one.
But what what are they really saving? I guess the person walking back and forth to seat you? I don't know.
I don't know. I mean,
don't
that's just the future. That's where we're going. That's where we're going.
Another reason why I don't want to go out as much. Because I think there's a lot behind that. Like, you've got a person that can look at, what tables are there, who's finishing up, I don't know how a robot can do that.
Well, Peter says the Wind restaurant, Japanese restaurant, I have heard the robots in this past weekend, BJ's has robots for customer service. Kind of creeped me out. Because it just snuck up.
Now, I've been to the one at BJ's. Now, this guy, I say a guy, just meaning robot in
Mm.
general, just
Yeah,
a
yeah.
thing at
Yeah,
this
yeah.
point, goes down the aisles, and it pretty much it goes yoo-hoo, or that's what it sounds like. And my daughter is always like, where is it, where is it, I want to go
Mhm.
see it, I want to say hi. And it's essentially like just taking stock of what's on its
Yeah, yeah,
shelves
yeah.
and everything. So it doesn't do customer service stuff, but
Yeah.
it's just through the aisles. I don't know if they've got other things with, they have customer assistance, how Peter was saying, but um she likes to see that, but
Yeah.
it doesn't directly help us out.
Yeah. Well, some people are saying the robot at BJ's is cool. Do you have a BJ's card, or are you a BJ?
Yeah. Hmm.
So there's a robot there. There was one when we went to the Chelsea Hotel, my family and I. I
Okay.
forgot the robot's name, but my daughter loved it. And this is my 18-year-old.
Yeah.
So he would hold a full conversation, but I think there's someone, in the back. But we were holding a full conversation with the
Oh, that's a
robot,
lot of fun.
and all of the kids, everybody just loved it. So I mean, that is where we're going, friends.
Well, I don't think I'd be tipping them.
Well, you don't tip the robot, but there are, people that eventually bring you some things or check in.
Right. Yeah.
And so the question will be, well, if the robot did so much of the service, what are we tipping for?
Yeah. How much are you
Yeah,
kind of going to allocate to it? Maybe you half it. I don't know.
that's an interesting.
Depends.
That's gonna be interesting. That's gonna be interesting.
Because you don't typically think that you're tipping your the person that seats you. You think you're tipping the lady or man who takes care of you at.
Yeah, yeah,
So if they're still bringing you everything and waiting on you, you would still tip the same, I
Yeah.
would think.
Well, it depends on where you are too, because I mentioned before, my daughter works at Mine,
Mm-hmm.
and whenever we tip, it goes to everyone, and it gets spread out.
Right.
Unless you specifically say, like,
Mhm.
I go in and leave her a nice little tip, and I'll say, this is for Gabriella.
Yeah.
Unless somebody specifically does that, a lot of times they share.
Yeah.
It goes into a bucket and they share. So we'll see how it goes with robots. How do you feel about ordering from a tablet when you go to a restaurant? What do you do?
I mean, sometimes it's okay. I mean, if you know what you're doing, sometimes you might be ordering the wrong thing.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it can be convenient because, if you're sitting there waiting for the wait staff to come back, and instead you could just send it right to the kitchen and they come out with it. You're like, oh, you did get that. That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
We,
yeah.
we got it.
Yeah. I mean, some
So-
people are freaked out by it. Some people say I have to have the human contact. Like when I walk into McDonald's and I want to order a Big Mac, I want to talk to somebody and order the Big Mac. I don't want to push the buttons on the.
I would rather, if I go in, because Natalia likes to go into McDonald's sometimes, and when we do that, I don't like ordering off of the machine.
Really? I don't mind.
If there's a person that's kind of standing there and will come up to the register, I'll go to the register because it's faster. I feel. 'Cause then you have to find the meal, you have to find the kids' meal, you have to
Yeah,
make sure
yeah.
that you're getting all the things in it, and you might miss something. So
I love it. Cheryl says, and it says, thank you and you're welcome.
yeah, I never talked to it. I mean, maybe there's different.
Oh,
maybe
you got to
there's
have more
different
fun with
roles.
these robots, Autumn.
Well, I'm on a mission. I'm not at BJ's to talk to the robots.
Well, did we do the whole self checkout thing? I know we had that conversation. Did you say you are or you are not? Well, we gotta go.
Yeah.
Never mind. Have a good day.